Hi guys. So if you are watching a recording, fast forward a little bit. I like to wait until a couple people jump on. Hopefully, hopefully my Wi-Fi will be good. And I'm just gonna wait for some people to hop on here before I start. So hope you guys are having an awesome, what's today? Thursday? An awesome Thursday. And I'm gonna get situated here and make sure I'm in the right page. Yep, I see it. I'm in the right page, so that's sweet. Good morning, good morning. Or afternoon now for me. I'm on the East Coast. It just turned 12 o'clock. I don't know where the morning went, but that's okay. I got the workout in at least and got some work done, so that's a yay for me. I hope you guys are having a good morning, afternoon. I don't know where you guys are at. Hey, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, a little bit about me. I'm Andy Teeter. I'm a superstar director with Scentsy. I'm kind of not a newer superstar consultant and not, I mean, a superstar director, or not an older one. I'm kind of in the middle. I've been a superstar director for, I think, 3 years, I want to say. And my Scentsy journey has taken me 8 years. So I've been here in 8 years total, and it's been amazing. And I love every second of it. And yes, I have my bad days. Of course, I have my bad days. We all do. So, you just have to learn to pick up and roll with the punches. And if you have a sponsor or a director you can talk to, you talk to them and just move on. So I am super excited to be here to talk to you guys today about conversations. So it seems really funny that I'm here to talk to people about having conversations, but we will all probably admit that this is one of the things that really is kind of a roadblock for us. And first, we're going to talk about having conversations and how to spark up conversations with people we don't know. And I'm going to give you guys some tips on that. But then we're going to go a little bit deeper because if you guys have ever heard me talk about anything when I train, I believe that everyone usually knows the nuts and bolts, or they can learn the nuts and bolts of how to do things. But there are things internally that stop us that we really need to talk about and focus on too. So, conversation 101, talking to strangers. Here's the thing, guys, and some of you guys know this. I'm a straight shooter, so I'm just gonna say it real and raw. But you are talking to people that you're only comfortable with. To take it to the next level in Scentsy, you have to not only talk to people you're comfortable with, so they're what we call warm leads. For instance, a friend of ours, maybe even a friend of a friend, because we feel more comfortable with people like that. It could be, warm leads could be a family member, somebody that we're really comfortable with. And we go with those people first, right? Because, like if they say no, it's going to hurt us less because they're not, well, I think anyways, that it hurts less because, it's not, to me, it's whatever, and rolling with the punches and hearing no's is part of this journey for sure. And I know it can hurt sometimes, but hearing no from a stranger, on the other hand, can be a little nerve wracking. So let's go through a list of ways that we can talk to people and a list of things that we can do to have conversations with people we don't know. So number one, the biggest thing that I have found that helps me whenever, if I'm in a group of people that I don't know, is to watch, to listen. Not now, if you are a friend of mine and I'm comfortable with you, I might talk your ear off, right? But if you're a stranger, I have really bad anxiety and panic attacks, and for me, being around strangers is really hard. I also take on people's emotions, and I'm a real big believer in when you meet somebody, their first impression is a lasting impression because it may be bad, but when I meet somebody and that first impression that I have, I usually carry that with me for a really long time. It's hard for me to get rid of that. So when I'm in a group of people I don't know, I'm listening, I'm watching. And why am I doing that? Because I'm looking for common grounds. I'm looking for common interests. So if everybody in that group is talking about religion or they're talking about politics, I'm probably going to stay quiet for a while until they say something that really is of an interest of mine. And then what I will do is open up conversation. Oh my gosh, I love that too. Did you see the movie, blah blah blah, or did you see the show that's a spin-off of that movie, or did you read the book? Whatever that they're talking about. If somebody is next to you and they're not talking about anything, maybe paying attention to them could help you pick up on things. If they're carrying a yoga mat, maybe they have an interest in yoga. Duh. You would carry a yoga mat around just if on a random. So obviously they practice yoga. Maybe you enjoy yoga, or maybe you've been wanting to get into yoga. So there's a conversation starter. But listening and watching and staying quiet until you maybe pick up on those things is something that I really I stress to you. And then when you find common interest, what are you doing to stay in touch with those people? Because the thing is, sometimes we're around strangers and we don't find ways to keep in touch with them. Well, if we don't keep in touch with them, and social media is my favorite way to do that. So, of course, if I meet them on social media, I'm going to be adding them as friends or whatever. If I meet them in person, I might say, hey, are you on, Twitter? Are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook? I would love to connect with you. We have a lot of things in common, and I would love to maybe go get a drink or lunch sometime. Maybe a group of us can go, something like that. If you've listened to me before, and if you haven't, if you want to, I have YouTube, I've got a ton of trainings on this, but I'm not going to go into detail too much, but I have from day one. So this past year, we've been really lucky. We've gotten to do things basically all online, which is really cool. Well, I've done that from the beginning, because y'all, I don't want to leave in the house a lot, and I don't want to like get out of my comfy clothes. I like my comfy clothes. So what I do is I join groups on Facebook, that have people have common interests. Like for instance, I'm on a Jeep group, I'm on a Boston Terrier group, I'm on all these groups, and I'll go in every once in a while and just ask questions. People love to give their opinions, and they love to talk about themselves. So I will ask questions like, for instance, who here has a Boston Terrier with an all white head? Because some Boston Terriers don't have the markings that they should, so they have an all white head. Well, we used to have a Boston that had an all white head. So, there might be 10 people that answer me. Well, then when they answer me, I make it's a little micro relationship with them underneath. Hey, nice to meet you. Oh, I see that you're in Maryland. I live in, Florida or whatever. Then I add them as a friend if we continue to have a conversation. So I'm not just going and adding a bunch of people as a friend and not building those relationships with them. I might take it into a message. Hey, it's so nice to meet you, and make friends with other Bostons that have white heads. Like whatever you want to say. But asking questions on pages and groups like that is really good. It's a way to spark up conversation and meet new people. If you did that for 10 minutes a day, and you made it a goal to meet one new friend a day, and then you worked it up to 5 new friends a day, think of how many people that you could start meeting. Number two, compliments. Who doesn't like a compliment? Okay, but first of all, if Pam ain't looking good that day, don't tell her she's looking good and lie to her, because she's going to be like, I know this is not a genuine compliment because I am not looking good today. I got an hour of sleep last night and this person is just being fake. So don't be giving people compliments if you don't really feel that the compliment is warranted. Maybe they're a really nice person and you want to be like, your soul is, and I know I'm a little bit hippie, but for me, I would be like, your soul is exuding positivity, and I absolutely love your personality. That is a compliment of someone that I met that I like, or maybe giving them a compliment on their shoes and asking them where they got them. I've gotten some really cool outfits by asking people, like, hey, where did you get that? I really like that. Number three is, are you serving people? So, for instance, if you're on a group on social media, or whatever. And are you serving them and offering them something? Say, for instance, somebody's asking about a doctor in town. Who's the best doctor? Message them and be like, hey, I love this doctor. And then follow up with them in 2 weeks. Hey, did you get an appointment in? How did it go? Because when you serve people and you try to help them, that genuinely builds a connection between you and them, right? Number 4, just basic conversation. So you could talk about the weather, you could talk about kids, you could talk about your hobbies. There's so many things you could talk about. You could talk about, you know how people like, so sometimes people look at my nails and they're like, oh my gosh, I like your nails, to start conversation with me. And I'm like, oh, thank you. So they gave me a compliment and they started a conversation, about nails or whatever, So you can talk small talk with people, on any amount of, I had somebody tell me they like my ring or, whatever. Um, so let's see, we went over that. And then here's another thing too. Are you adding friends on social media? So we talked about adding people, in public or in groups, but are you guys paying attention to your customers, whether they buy from you or not, in your Facebook events and groups on your online parties? Because I find that a lot of us are missing those people. So here's the thing. I wanted to recruit 5 people this month, and I'm on number 4, right? So I said, I want to recruit 5 people. Well, how do I do that? Well, I know that I have to start out with meeting some new friends, right? Because I've pretty much exhausted asking, my current customers, what is the best way to do that? To go book parties. Why? Because at each party, guess what? I met 15 to 20 or more new people, and maybe only half of them were my customers, but the other half clicked that they were going to that group or they wanted to be in that party or whatever. So obviously they like Scentsy. Maybe they just didn't want to buy then. Well, how does that set you up? That sets you up in 2 ways. If I add them as a friend, I send them an invite to my VIP group, that sets you up meeting. So let's say you book 5 parties like I did this month. You booked 5 online parties. Well, let's say there's 25 people at each of those parties that you didn't know before. That, friends, is 125 new friends that month that you now have the opportunity that a lot of you are not taking to add them as a friend, connect with them, follow up. If they're a customer of yours, if you're not following up with them, you're showing them that you don't care about them. Follow up with them. What is going to happen when you follow up with them? Then you can say, hey, have you ever thought about joining Scentsy? I see that you're in Tennessee. I don't have any teammates there. Let me look it up on Scentsy.com to see how many lead consultants and above are there. Oh, wow, there's only 2 lead consultants and above in your town. This is amazing. Something like that. And maybe somebody will take a bite and maybe they won't. But the more people you ask, statistics are on your side, right? So let's see. Um, Okay, so last thing before we go into the psychological stuff, which I like to talk about a lot, last thing is just keep in mind that we are not sharks on a prowl, okay? We want to not be known as sounds like MLM, okay? Whatever. What is that? Sounds like MLM, but okay. Like whatever people put, the rude mean girls that put, which I just want to tell y'all, I say this a lot, they are the minority of people. Most people are not mean, they're just the loudest. But most people are kind people. Most people actually, would consider joining and starting a side gig. But to set ourselves aside from a lot of these other companies that have made an icky name for us in multi-level marketing, direct sales, whatever we want to call our business, we can't just be sharks. We can't just go to people and be like, if they're a stranger. I had a girl message me a couple weeks ago. She was like, do you know anybody that drinks coffee, or do you drink coffee? I've never talked to this girl before in my life. I have never met her. We were just Facebook friends. I have no idea how we became friends on Facebook. And this is what she messages me. Well, right away, I'm like, first of all, you didn't even say hi, how are you today? So let's be different than those people, right? Let's not look, we're all going to be thinking Scentsy in the back of our head because we are Scentsy men and ladies and we like Scentsy. So it makes us excited and we want to tell everybody about it. We want to get out there with our horns and be like Scentsy. But no, not yet. When you're doing things like this, you really have to build authentic relationships with people and friendships with people. And what are some great ways to get in front of people to let them know that you sell Scentsy? You could brand yourself. Okay, so the next time you're around that person, you don't even have to mention Scentsy because guess what? It says big old Scentsy letters on your shirt that you sell Scentsy. They might be on your social media and they might see a post. That worked for me a couple weeks ago. I moved to a new area, which, by the way, guys, Not only do I have anxiety and panic attacks, okay, so I'm not always like this, I struggle, but my husband just retired from the military and we've been traveling cross country in our RV for the last year. We are living in our RV still. We're in Florida. We just moved here so he could finish his degree, his dive degree in Key West, or in the Keys. And I didn't know anybody. So I said, all right, I got to start meeting people. So I went to the spouses pages and, I went to all these different pages to try to meet new people. I met somebody. And well, I met a couple of different people. And the next day I had posted something like, if you could join Scentsy for free, would you? Well, we all know I'm talking about the Earn a Kit. This girl that I just met said, I would join Scentsy if I could for free. So I messaged her, and guess what? We're getting ready to flip her $700 party. Hopefully by then it'll be $1,000 and she will be certified consultant. But if I did not reach out and get past my fears and try to make new friends, I would not have had that new recruit. And another thing, don't y'all be talking politics and religion with people, okay? Not on your social media, and I try, sometimes I slip up too. Not on your social media, not in public, just don't even mention it because you're going to argue, you're going to give somebody a bad taste in their mouth, and it ain't going to change their mind anyways, y'all. They're going to still think that so-and-so is the best president or so-and-so was the best president, and y'all are going to change their mind. And guess what it's going to do? It's going to build a wedge between you and them, and they could have been your new hostess, customer, or teammate, right? One more thing before we get into psychological. I used to recruit a lot of people, 50 to 75 people a year. Okay. Well, because I thought quantity was better than quality, right? Well, 2 years ago, I started recruiting 20 to 30 people a year. And I really started working with those people. Instead of making it like it was a meat market coming in and I was just turning them over, I actually started building relationships, keeping in touch with them more. I wasn't so busy with having 5 to 10 recruits a month. I had 3 to 5 or 2 to 3 or whatever it was that month that I could actually start building relationships. And guess what that did for me? It took me as a superstar director who was struggling to get paid at title, which we all go through it, guys. We all struggle to get paid at title sometimes. It ain't no shame. I went from that to having 10 frontline directors when I changed my perspective on it. So I was struggling to even have 4. I think I had like 2. And then I had 2 that kept going into DQ. So I went from 4-ish to 10. Okay? All because it was quality over quantity. My focus is to recruit 2 to 5 people a month to keep my empire going, to keep it strong. Because y'all, I'm here to make 6 figures. I'm here to stay making 6 figures where I'm at right now. And I want to grow, right? And I know y'all want to grow too. And that's why I'm here, hoping that something that I say changes your mind today. And you have a moment where you're like, I want to make 6 figures too. And I'm here to tell you that if I did it during a slower time in Scentsy, you can do it in hypergrowth. Okay? So let's talk about this. All right. Let's talk about the fear that's stopping you and the confidence that's stopping you. This is only going to be for a couple minutes and then I'll be done. But we really need to talk about this. Are you being you? Or are you falling into that trap where you're watching somebody's YouTube on social media and they're in Scentsy and you feel like you need to look like them or emulate them to do well? Are you afraid to say things because people will think people will think you're stupid? Are you afraid to be different? Because if you are, you need to stop. That fear inside of you is making you stay in this bubble. And until you get outside of that bubble, you can't see life in a different light. It goes for the same thing. If you don't like yourself, if you don't like the weight that you're at, if you don't like something about yourself. I'm all for change, but I'm all for embracing things too. It's a fine balance, but if y'all want to lose 20 pounds or 10 pounds or whatever, start with one thing. It's just like recruiting and meeting new friends. Start with one thing. Go out there and walk for 30 minutes. Just walk. It's Doing something is better than doing nothing. And that relates to recruiting too. Doing something is better than doing nothing. So what happens if you do lose that weight and your confidence is built? Or what happens if along that journey, maybe you didn't lose weight, but you were like, you know what? I love myself the way I am. I feel strong. Maybe I didn't lose weight, but I'm strong and I'm healthy and I've been eating healthy foods, and you feel better about yourself. Guess what happens when you feel better about yourself? Then you go out and you start exuding that confidence and you start letting go of that fear. Yes, Kimmy, you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. And I'm a prime example of that because y'all know I'm a hot mess. A hot mess. And that's okay. That's okay to be a hot mess, because guess what? People want to see that. People want to see real, raw, authentic. I will never be the person out there telling y'all, I don't fart. Hell yeah, I fart. I've got stomach issues. I definitely fart. Now, will I fart in front of like a group of people that I don't know? No. But if I'm around a bunch of Scentsy people, like, I don't, I'm all right with it. I mean, if they get offended by it, that's their problem. But this is me. This is who I am, you know? And if I'm a little weird, I watch kung fu movies and I don't like purses and I don't, whatever. Now my best friend Steffi, my sponsor, she loves purses and she loves pink, and that's her. And guess what? We get along perfectly. You know why? Because we're just authentically us and we're okay with who we are, and we don't feel like we need to compete or look like each other. And when you start acting like that and you go out and meet people, you really find the value in just being you and just exuding that confidence and being okay with who you are. And people want to join you because they trust you and they like you, right? So that it all comes back down to recruiting. The other thing is you have to believe that you're offering an epic opportunity. And a lot of you guys are walking around thinking, oh, I'm going to bug people. I'm going to bother people if I ask them to join my team. I'm going to, what are they going to think of me? Okay, stop. Here is the thing. I go around knowing that I'm offering an amazing opportunity. I'm not bugging people. I'm trying to help them. If they don't take it and see it, I still like them. I'm still friends with them, and it's all good. But I know that I am offering people an opportunity to make as much as a doctor and a lawyer and work from home in their jammies selling candles. That's damn straight, y'all. That is freaking awesome. Who I'm going to go tell the world about it, and I hope you're going to go tell the world too. Because when Jen Audette told me in that pool in Costa Rica when I had my first incentive trip, when she told me I could make as much as doctors and lawyers, and I had to sell $2,000 a month, recruit 2 to 5 people a month, and build my team and listen to people that had success and do what they were saying they were doing, I was like, sign me up. Because no excuse is going to get in my way, because I want my husband to retire from the military and not have to go back to work if he doesn't want to. I want him to be able to live out his dreams. And I want my family to have what I didn't have growing up. Okay? So I fear more going back to a 9 to 5 job. I fear more not being able to provide for my family. I fear more those things than I do talking to a stranger. I don't fear talking to a stranger, and I don't give a damn what they think about me, because again, I'm offering them an amazing opportunity, and if they don't take it, that's their loss, right? It's all good. Okay, so the other thing is, pay attention when you're adding these people. What are you posting on social media? People love to give their opinions, so ask people's opinions. People love funny stuff. People love inspiration. Let me tell y'all. So you guys probably see me, like, I post some pretty, like, funny, borderline, like, over the line type of post on my Facebook and my Instagram. But it's me. It's who I am. Sometimes I'm over the line and I think things are funny that maybe somebody else doesn't think is funny. But I have customers all the time saying, "Hey, thank you so much for your post the other day. It was so funny. It made me laugh." Number one, that gives me joy that I could make them laugh for a second. And number two, they're saying, "You reminded me to buy from you because I saw your post." Okay? So just be present about what you're posting on social media and what you're talking about on social media. So I'm going to end just by saying something that I said earlier. Start with one a day. Be persistent and consistent. Do not give up. The only way you can fail at this is if you give up. But take 15 to 20 minutes every day to do this. Make one new friend a day, doing some of the things that I suggested. Work your way up from there. If you want to do 2 new friends a day, 3 new friends a day. The other thing you can do is follow up with your customers, because that is going to get you into the position to talk to them about joining Scentsy. Okay? That's it, guys. This isn't rocket science, because I would not be here if it was. But what it is a way to break down barriers and fears with yourself, to grow, and then to go out there and conquer the world, because y'all, the world's out there to be conquered. Scentsy's doing amazing. We're growing. We're thriving. There's people turning 18 every single day. Go recruit all your customers and hostesses, because guess what? There's people turning 18 every single day that's going to buy from you, that's going to be new customers. But the minute you get discouraged because of one thing and you let that downward spiral go and you decide that you might want to quit, or you quit recruiting and you give up, that's when it's going to fall, guys. So I love you guys so much. I will see some of you guys in Disney. Hopefully I will see some of you guys soon at another Scentsy convention that is in person soon, hopefully. I love you guys so much. I believe in you. Your leaders believe in you. Your directors, your superstar directors, your star directors, your sponsor believes in you. What we need for you to do is believe in you yourself. Everything else falls into place. So I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I hope to talk to you guys soon. And thank you to the ladies that asked me to do this, because this fills my cup with so much joy. If one person learns something, then my job is done. So I love you guys so much. Have a good day.